Kevin.
Wow. What?
You get this only nowhere else but the Kevin and Zach. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now we're not look at this. A carved penguin. There it is. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
Okay.
The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on?
What is
happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the ball.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birdfish.
How about that?
Birdfish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say? What can I say?
That one pissed me off. That one was frustrating. That one pissed me off. Orioles lose 11-6 in a game. They had the long ball going. You had 4 home runs, one by Seti, one by O'Hearn, 2 from Holiday. The Jackson Holiday game, 3 for 4, 2 home runs. Kid had an absolute day. Gunner had an absolute day. Offense was great. Struggled a little with runners in scoring position, but they've done that all year. The Orioles give up 7 home runs to the worst power hitting team in baseball. The Royals haven't hit 7 home runs in a week so far this season, and the Orioles gave it up to them in one game. Orioles pitching atrocious, absolutely atrocious today. Kyle Gibson, funny enough, Kyle Gibson was by far, I feel like, the best pitcher today. Keegan Aiken, I'm sorry, I'll put Aiken in there. Kyle Gibson actually didn't pitch that poorly, pitched pretty well, besides, going Waters, gets that bloop single, really kind of changed the outlook on Gibson. If he's able to just get a fly out there, just pop up whatever, I think it looks a whole lot different with 1 run there over 4 innings. Gives up the 3 anyway. But then the bullpen just home run after homer. I mean, you get Baker giving up 2. We'll get into the whole Charlie Morton decision. I understand, it's the bottom. I just listened. I delayed the start of Kevin and Zachariak because I wanted to listen to what Brandon Hyde said about that decision. We'll get into that. I have no words for a 2-run game that your offense is playing the way it's playing, and you bring in the biggest liability on your team. I don't understand that at all, even after the explanation. But we're going to get to it. Charlie Morton, he did what Charlie Morton does this year. It's give up runs. It's take away the Orioles' opportunity to win, and that's what he did. He completely went out there, and any hope that the Orioles had that they were going to go and sneak back into this game again, offense had momentum. Just a shot in the mouth to immediately. He gets the first 2 outs quickly, then just the shot in the mouth gives up the homers. It's infuriating. It's infuriating, especially because the Orioles, it felt like after Gibson was taken out in the 4th inning, after the 4th, They go to Baker. It felt like they were kind of in that, hey, this is a big game. We have an off day tomorrow. We're going to use the bullpen to try to win this. And then instead, down 2, it felt like in the 7th, they just threw in the towel. They're like, well, we tried. Charlie, go play mop-up duty. Disappointing. Especially disappointing to waste a game like that from the offense. And, if the offense does that last night, they win. I mean, we've had so many games where the offense doesn't show up, or if the offense scored 6 runs, they'd win easily. Not today. Offense shows up and just absolutely the pitching just lets them down. It's as simple as that. Offense showed up. It was not pretty with runners in scoring position. Let me see. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And that actually came, in the 8th inning? So 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You're still just solely relying on the long ball, but at least they were hitting it. Yes, they were extremely, extremely relying on it to get their runs, but at least they were hitting the long ball today. We've had so many games where they couldn't get anything going. They scored 6 runs today. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go through the box score. All right. So Orioles lose 6-11, 11-6. Cedric Mullins, 1 for 5, gets the home run. I mean, he's continuing to, he's had a rough series against the Royals, only the 1 hit. But if your 1 hit's going to be a home run, and at the time, the tying home run, I mean, there weren't many bigger opportunities than, that. So Cedric Mullins, take that from him. Gunnar Henderson, 2 for 4, also gets that walk. He was on base 3 times, scores the run. I mean, he was great game. I mean, he was fantastic as well. Adley Rutschman, 1 for 5. He gets the RBI and the run. Ryan O'Hearn was great. He could have had 2 home runs if the one doesn't hit off the wall. Mountcastle gets his RBI in the 8th that, was trying to will it across. Jackson Holiday it was the Jackson Holiday game. If they don't blow this, it's the Jackson Holiday game. That's what we remember this as. 3 hits in 4 at-bats, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. Jackson Holiday had himself a day. Kobe Mayo 0 for 3 with the walk and the strikeout. Kerstead goes 1 for 4, had that weird double play where I think he thought that the inning was either over or the guy caught it, not really sure. Maverick Handley 0 for 2. But, it was the offense wasn't the issue tonight. Like I said, still 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, but it really is. They scored 6 runs. That should get you the win. And real fast before we continue, this is Kevin and Zach React. Home for your Orioles post-game everything. Go live after every single Orioles game, win or lose. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go bring on my co-host, Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin, what a disappointing game. I mean, it just felt like they had it. They kept fighting. They were down 3 times and came back to tie it. I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is the turning point. Like they just got fight. Kevin, I was feeling like 2023. I was checking the calendar. Fall behind 3 times, 3 game-tying home runs. It was like 2023. And then you fall behind. You bring in Charlie Morton. Lead gets extended to 4. It was over.
Yeah, if every 5th day isn't a loss, whenever Charlie Morton pitches, it is a loss. We've been screaming it from the rooftops since quite literally. Yep. Yeah. 0-8. And we really, the 24-2 game was the final straw for, I think people were already done with him before then, but that was the final straw. How he's still on this team is baffling to me. It's, again, the sudden cost fallacy, and they are pitching an arm down. It's the same thing that happened with Kimbrel last year in the second half. The difference is Kimbrel is actually good for them in the first half of the year. You have enough time to just cut bait with Charlie Morton. You are not going to win a World Series with an arm down in your bullpen. And you know what? Hyde's answer post-game, I wasn't happy with it. I'm going to pull it up. I think Jacob Calvin Meyer had it.
Kevin, I was just talking about because I literally waited to start the show because you could, give the full description because I wanted to hear what his reasoning for that. So if you want to go ahead and read that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is what I'm talking about, but he was asked if Charlie Morton's going to keep getting opportunities and how difficult it is to keep giving him those opportunities. And Brandon Hyde said he's going to continue to get opportunities. We're going to try to figure this thing out, which I don't agree with, but whatever. What I'm talking about is on the decision to bring in Charlie Morton down 2 runs in the 8th inning, when again, they were staying in the game. They were manufacturing. Well, I guess they were hitting home runs, but still they were getting runs on the board. He said, quote, "We're down 2. Dominguez pitched last night. I gave Morton the bottom of the order. He got 2 quick outs and went 3-0 to the number 9 hitter." You want to know why you had to put Charlie in the game? Because Charlie's on the roster. You want to know why Charlie's on the roster? In my opinion, it's because the front office does not want to, 1, admit the mistake, and 2, they invested so much money in him that it's sunken cost fallacy. Like, that is exactly what it is to me. And I think it's a terrible excuse. I think a competing franchise should, or at least trying to be competitive, whatever you want to say. And I know that, goodbye, Zach. And whatever you want to say about them, they're supposed to be competitive. They're supposed to, do everything they can to win. Yes. What they're doing right now is not what a winning ball club does. Charlie Morton. I get giving a guy opportunities. I get trying to get a guy right or trying to figure something out. But there are timelines for this, right? There are timelines. Even if the Orioles were 3-5 in the games that Charlie Morton pitched, you could make an argument. 2-6. If the bullpen thing was working, you could make an argument. But nothing is working with him. Nothing. That's the problem. You have given me personally, I'm just speaking from what I think, you've given me no reason to trust it's going to turn around. You've seen nothing. Or, he'll settle in. No, there's been no settling in. He's gotten outs on guys. Yeah, he's gotten 2 outs or 2 innings worth of outs as a starter, and then it all falls apart. I think this is a money decision. That is my opinion. It is my opinion. I think that the Orioles are keeping him on the roster because of money. I think that they kept Kimbrel on the roster last year because of money. And it's unfortunate because that's not what competitive ball clubs do. So you're down 2, you bring him in. Obviously, it just balloons from there. Obviously, Bowman didn't help things either when he came in the game. But here's the problem. And look, this is getting national, and the Orioles are beginning to pick up more and more national attention, and not in a good way. I wish it was in a good way, but it's not. Jeff Passan amplifies it for the world to see, for the baseball world to see. Coming into today, Kansas City, they hit 18 home runs in 34 games. That was a major league low. Last in the MLB. Yeah. In 9 innings today, they hit 7 home runs, a franchise record for them, by the way. And do you have the stat on how many they hit throughout the series, Zach? I don't know if
They had 11 in the past 2 games. I know that.
Yeah. So
I guess 11 in the last 2 games because they were shut out the game.
Yeah. So we'll just go off. Yeah.
And until the last one, they were all solo shots. They gave up 11 in the series. No. Sorry, 10 in the series. 11 were, because they gave up 3 yesterday, 7 today. 10 in the series, 9 were solos.
It's again, and we're talking about a lot like this. It's not as embarrassing as a 24-2 or 15-3, but this felt like the worst loss.
This felt like a gut punch. At least before it felt uncompetitive. This felt like a game that you should have gone and won.
Out of those 3, the 24-2, 15-3, and this one felt the worst because you're right. They fought back. The offense was doing its thing outside of the whole runners scoring position thing, which at this point, it's going to be a year-long issue. I don't see how they turn it around, but maybe I'll reverse jinx it and then I can take credit for it. I'd love that. But at the end of the day, they can never get it all right. Like we've said this over and over. It's a broken record of pitching does awesome. Offense can't get it going. Offense can't stop hitting homers. Well, guess what? The pitching staff also can't stop giving up homers. It's just they barely ever, it feels like, have games where all three or all four phases of their team are in sync, united in playing baseball the best that they can at the same time. It's either the rotation, it's the bullpen, which the bullpen hasn't really been a big issue this year. But regardless, like when the bullpen has their bad stinker game, it's when everything else is going right. And then the bullpen's the reason why they lose. It's like the bullpen, the starters, the offense, the defense too. It's like, I'm not expecting them to have everything right every single game. No team has that. And I'm not trying to put those unrealistic expectations on this team because no team should have those expectations in the first place. But we just see it so far often where even if your starter isn't perfect, and of course no starter is ever going to be unless you are in very rare company in a certain game. If your starter's not perfect, your bullpen's not perfect, your offense isn't perfect, that's fine. But usually good teams find ways to overcome a couple of setbacks throughout games. Yeah. It just feels like either this team goes down 2-0 and the game is over, or this team puts up 8 runs and it's not enough. And it's such a terrible spot to be in with you never know what you're going to get from this team, which is all of baseball. But good performances should be rewarded. You know, good Sagano performances, good Eflin performances, good bullpen performances, good offensive performances. And it just feels like too often, Zach, we're having this conversation of, man, these guys killed it, but they lost.
And it's so demoralizing because this was a game where, your bullpen's been your most consistent aspect of your team so far this season. And in a game where you go to your bullpen in the 5th inning because you're like, okay, we have an opportunity to go take this series, and you kind of prioritize like, hey, we want to go win this. Then suddenly your bullpen's the one that shits the bed. You're sitting back going, well, okay. Like that's what sucks about this. Kyle Gibson didn't have a bad start. 4 innings, 3 runs. Is it great? No. But if that bloop single in his second to last at bat that he got, if that's an out, if they just have him take his base, whatever, he gets the next guy out, it's 4 innings, 1 run. It was a blooper away. I mean, it wasn't like Kyle Gibson went out there and looked like he did last time. Right. He gave them an opportunity when he left the game to still win, and they couldn't do it because the bullpen let them down, which is exactly kind of the opposite, of what's happened this year, where it's like, the pitching staff will give up runs and then the bullpen has to kind of shut it down and hope that the offense can catch up. This time the offense, oh my gosh, Kevin, that's what's so just frustrating about this is the offense kept responding. The offense kept getting punched in the mouth and responding. It felt like 2023 again. It felt like it didn't matter what was happening if the other team, took the lead, if they tied it up. They went out there and they found a way to tie it. They found a way to respond every single time. Even at the end, they didn't go out, lame. They got guys on. They made it interesting. Like, for them to show that amount of fight, for them to finally be, responding with every punch, giving one back, and then for the bullpen to just kind of implode off solo home runs. Kevin, I'll take responsibility for this game. It's because recently we've just been talking about how we're like, don't walk anyone. Like, if you give up a solo, it's okay. Then they just we're like, solos aren't going to lose you games, and then they hit 6 of them, so maybe that'll lose you games.
Yeah, but they take everything to such an extreme when we say.
Yeah, we tell them, okay, a solo shot's not bad, just don't have anyone on beforehand, and then they give up 6 solos. So I guess that's on us for not specifying.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull. This is going to be the most random thing I think I've ever pulled for one of these shows. Kevin Millwood pitched for the Orioles in 2010.
Oh, yeah. He was opening day starter once, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah, his only year was the opening day starter. He was, Atlanta. He was a journeyman guy. Spent the first couple years of his career in Atlanta. He was 35 when he came to Baltimore, so this was kind of the twilight years of his career. Kevin Millwood went 4-16, the most losses he ever had in his career. 16. He went 4-16. All right, now you might be wondering, Kevin, what the hell are you talking about right now? Why are you saying this? Kevin Millwood started 31 games for the Orioles, pitched 190 in 2/3 innings. That comes out to 6.12 innings per start.
All right.
Kyle Gibson pitched 4 today. You have other guys who are going less deep into ball games. At least Kevin Millwood, who was 35 years old, was going and saving your bullpen. And Brandon Hyde is talking about how, we were down 2 and Dominguez pitched last night and, they used all these guys for an inning. It's because their starters aren't going deep enough into ball games, on top of the fact that they are pitching a man down with Charlie Morton in the bullpen. So at least Kevin Millwood would go out there and he'd lose almost every game he pitched. But at least he went out there and ate the innings, those inning eaters. Kyle Gibson's not. And look, I'm not trying to place those expectations. To be completely honest, Zach, these guys should not be relied upon in the spots that they are at this point in their careers. It is because of the way the offseason went, the Orioles. Charlie Morton was offered $15 million.
Why wouldn't you take that?
You and I would jump off this stream right now and never stream again to take $15 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It's I don't know about that. I might love the community too much. But you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of people would do a lot of things and quit a lot of jobs and move anywhere for $15 million. I'm not blaming that on Charlie Morton. It's on the front office for putting them in that spot. Yeah. And yes, Brandon Hyde has not been the best decision maker this season. I think we can all admit to that. But you also have to look at what he's working with. That is why I'm not 100% placing blame on Brandon Hyde. I'm not placing all the blame on Mike Elias or all the blame on the players. Now, if you want to have a conversation about, how much blame each of those guys or each of those aspects of the team deserves, that's a different conversation. I know some people will blame it more on Elias. Others will blame it more on Hyde, maybe more on the players. That I think is varying. But this has been an organizational failure of a season top to bottom, in my opinion.
Yeah, it has been. It really has been. The way they supplemented, the way they added depth. I mean, the way that they've handled injuries or, knowing about injuries and not supplementing behind. It really has been. And I kind of want to move into a little bit more of a positive conversation, but still around the pitching. If there's one positive from today, Zach Eflin pitched in Aberdeen, 4 scoreless innings, 2 hits in Aberdeen on 58 pitches, throwing 35 strikes. I would think he probably needs one more start. I was hoping, I know he said that he wanted to just be one start and back. 56 pitches tells me there's probably a second start down there, whether it's Aberdeen, Norfolk, wherever it is. Probably there. But it tells me that Zach Eflin's within 10 days of returning, at least, in some capacity. So I think that is massive because, hey, the Orioles still are heading in this stretch of teams again. Right now, the rest of the teams on the schedule are below 500. You gotta get back to 500, and you're gonna need Eflin. If Eflin can come in there and give you an extra 2-3 wins this month, that's massive. Yeah. We also had Kittredge pitch today. I'm not sure what he did, but Kevin, if we want to talk real fast about, I guess Kittredge, 2 hits, 1 run in the 5th. All right. So that was his outing.
I mean, this is the make or break month for me. I said that a couple of I've been saying that. Like, if you can't get it done now, then when? Like, if you can't win these games against these teams now, then when are you going to win them? Mm-hmm. Like, this has been a tough year so far. And not a lot has gone right. You have to bring it back. You have to bring it back here. So,
yeah, if they can get Eflin back, if Sagano can continue to pitch the way he's pitching, if Povich can continue to take the steps he's taking, you have enough talent offensively to where you can make that work against these below 500 teams. I completely agree, Kevin. If they are not winning these games, you cannot. I'm no longer using the excuse of, oh, well, they're injured. Oh, they're just trying to figure it out. We're on May 4th. We're like 5-6 weeks into the season. That you have to get to 500. You have to get to 500 in this month or you are in deep shit. Let's call it like it is. If you cannot find your way to 500, this is going to be a wash of a season. Especially if you find yourself at 500 just from where you are now and you're still 5-6 games under. If you just go 500 from here on out and you finish 5-6 games under, I mean, that is such a failure. It's unreal.
yeah, I mean, you're 7 games under right now. We're 33 games into the year. How many? 33 divided by 162. We are 20% of the way done through the season. 1/5. Right? Everybody's talking about, well, still early. Yeah, it is. But it might also not be as early as you think. We're 1/5 of the way done with the year.
So
we're actually over 1/5 of the way done.
So we're like going into week 4 of an NFL season.
Yeah, right around week 4, yeah. Like week 4, week 5, yeah. Well, I guess 5 would be with all the 17 games screwed everything.
That's what I was saying.
I'm trying to figure out percentages.
That's why I was like, we're like sort of going into
week 4 is a good.
We're like on a Tuesday of week 4 or something.
Yeah, you want to get down 1:37 p.m. on Tuesday of week 4.
Jeff Kuda, one of my favorite accounts on Twitter, he'll tweet that. He'll be like, he puts the MLB season tracker in relation to where we are in an NFL season, and he'll be like, at the conclusion of the Dodgers game tonight, we are officially at the 11:37 mark in the second quarter of a week of a 4 p.m.
Actually, that is awesome.
Yeah, and he's like, this is where we are in the baseball season. Yeah. Which sometimes when you're like, oh shit, we're already in week 9, it starts.
Yeah, starts getting a little crazy.
Yeah. We want to head into Collins.
Yeah. Let's get to Walter's super chat here first, though.
Oh, I didn't. Was it when my internet went out?
It might have been right around there. Walter says this season has lost trade vets on expiring contracts to restock the farm, add legit pitching to pair with Bradish in the offseason, and make a run at it next year. At this point, Zach, do you think any of the expirings come back? O'Hearn, Mullins, etc.
No, they're the only ones that are producing, so they better. That's why I saw somebody say, and I agree right now, don't make the same mistake 2 straight off seasons. You let Tony, you let Corbin walk. Don't do the same mistake 2 straight off seasons. You have to, if you get rid of Seti and O'Hearn right now, there's nothing left on offensive veteran talent of just guys that have been there, done that. I think you have to have at least one of them. But Kevin, the guy that I don't want to get into this too much because it's pessimistic and stuff. If the Orioles do sell at the deadline, who gets the biggest haul?
Out of the vets?
Out of just anyone that they trade. You know who I think would get the biggest haul? The guy that I feel like not getting talked about as a trade candidate?
Are you going to say Sagano?
Sagano.
Oh, man. That's a whole different can of worms.
That's what I'm saying. It would be Tomo would get a lot. If he continues pitching like this, Tomo would get a lot in return. If he's putting a 2.5 ERA out there.
I feel like they get a lot for Eflin too. I feel like Eflin might be the one that gets you the most.
Depends, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they have a lot of expirings though. Or I guess depends on what you think a lot is. But let me look quickly.
I mean, after this,
Eflin, Sagano, Kittredge, Mullins.
Tyler O'Neill, technically, if he opts out. Gary Sanchez, Kyle Gibson, Ramon Laureano, Albert Suarez.
Hey, don't you forget. Oh, no, Mateo was a club option. They're going to pick that up. So, gee, what's Bradish's deal? Oh, Bradish is good. Wow, Bradish, when did he sign? Did I just miss that?
Bradish? No, it's because of injury and stuff. His clock is so horrifically screwed up.
Yeah, he'll be a free agent in 2029.
Yeah, he's going to be not for his likings, but the Orioles did well with.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so pushed back. Jeez. Yeah, Kramer will be 2028. Soto will be 20. Oh, Soto's also free agent. Yeah, Rutschman 20. Okay, so yeah, and the other thing is that they just haven't made any moves. Like we haven't had one extension to react to. Like, I think it'd be a little different. Again, I know people are split on Adley right now in terms of like what that whole future looks like.
Adley.
I'm just saying that the overall consensus on Adley is very split down the middle with everyone. Like that's what I'm saying. It is very split down the middle. So we'll see. But, all right, you want to get the call-ins?
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat.
So link for call-ins is for members in the post tab. Talk about the Orioles with us or anything else you want to.
Oh no,
we're after a game like that one did feel like the biggest gut punch, at least one of the biggest gut punches of the year so far.
It was disappointing to say the least, Kevin. I mean, talk about just they kept because the Orioles kept punching back. You know, it wasn't like before where it's like once they went down, you felt like it was over. It felt like they kept coming back, and then it just kept slipping through their hands. But let's get the call-ins. This is Kevin and Zach React. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let's go do our first call-in. We got Steven.
Steven, what's going on, man?
At least there was some life in the team today. I liked that.
True.
And they tried. But as soon as Morton came in, I was like, oh, God, no.
That's how it felt like throwing the towel in.
Yeah.
Legitimately. He is this year's version of, like we said, Craig Kimbrell.
Oh, without a doubt.
We can't try for nothing this time. It's like, what the hell? If this isn't a wake-up call for Elias and Rubenstein, or at least Rubenstein to get a little bit more hands-on with Elias and wonder what the hell did you do last offseason? Why did you screw things up so bad? You know, there should be some accountability here at some point.
And I saw someone put it in the chat earlier. There have been general managers who have been fired
for less.
And it's true.
Especially with the Yankees. The Yankees, they don't bullshit around. It's like you're not contributing to the club. Guess what? You're out of here.
Yeah, a lot of these big time, organizations, they are very like, we see all the time. I mean, how many times have we seen, managers get fired from good clubs after successful seasons because they're like, hey, yeah, you made it to the ALDS. We want to win a World Series, and you're not doing that for us. So they, and I think that's where Oriole fans are right now. That's why a lot of people last year were like, cool, Brandon, you got us back to a wild card sweep. We haven't won. Thanks for getting us to the playoffs, but we want more.
You want more. And the thing is, I haven't seen that next level from him.
Yeah.
He's a great regular season manager. He's good at motivating the players to do well in the regular season. When it comes time to put up or shut up, I haven't seen that from him yet.
Yeah. I haven't.
It's true.
And it's just.
And I don't think I will.
Yeah. And that's what's so disappointing is you feel like, especially, 2023 was a lot worse because I felt like the momentum they had going into it. But even last season, Going to the playoffs is cool.
Yep.
And I
2 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's-
I very much enjoyed 2023 going to the playoffs for the first time in
Right.
7 years. And you were like, oh, this is fun. Like, I'm glad we made it to the playoffs. Now that we're here, I'm like, making it to the playoffs. Yeah, making it to the playoffs is the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Like, that's okay. You did what you're supposed to. But now it's you got to win.
Right.
We've made the playoffs now. This is no longer we're trying to get them, experience. They've
gotten there. They've got experience
twice. They've gotten it twice. Unfortunately, we have no experience winning.
Right.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But I agree. It is frustrating to see them not really show any life there.
You're right, and that's the problem. That's the problem I've seen. And quite frankly, injuries suck. But the thing is, your players are supposed to rise up.
Yeah.
Put it on the board, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on at this point. Because at least I see from the players right now, they're starting to show signs of life,
which is good.
And some of the players are starting to put things together. Like you see a nice hitting streak from Gunnar. You see Holiday putting it together. He's now hitting 270.
Yeah.
With a couple of homers, so he's starting to come in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about like you have this talent,
and they're not consistent.
No. They're not consistent with it, and we've seen eras of baseball with teams that we thought were going to be dynasties end. That window just
because of bad off-season moves.
Yeah, it smacks shut sometimes. That door closes in the blink of an eye, and I don't want this Orioles team to be one of those teams we look back on in 20 years and be like, man, if they had just made a couple more good moves, we could have been talking a lot differently about it.
Right. And I've said before, it's not like every team has a problem with pitching. It's not just us.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. There's a lack of quality pitching in the league. So
very
it's
much
not just us.
Yeah,
if you can go out there and score 4 runs or 5 runs, you're fine usually.
Yeah.
But the way we're losing a lot of times, it's a lot worse. So
yeah, I agree. It really is. I mean, we just had Dan Duquette on the Ryan Ripken show, and that's exactly what he said. He said there's a lack of pitching. He's like, there's not. He said, let's take injuries out. He's like, you could have everyone fully healthy. There's still a lack of good pitching out there.
You're lucky if you have one good guy on a squad.
Exactly. Let alone a full rotation of them. So I agree, Steven. Appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate you, Steven, as always.
You have a good one.
Yeah.
You have a good one. And, just kind of to build on his one point, kind of what I think pisses me off the most about this game, we should be popping champagne for the Jackson Holiday game.
Yeah. I wish
we should be through the roof right now, going nuts because Jackson Holiday over the past 15 games is hitting over 350. He goes yard twice today, goes oppo on a line shot up the middle, single against a good lefty. I mean, this was the Jackson Holiday game, and it is overshadowed by once again the fact that the Orioles couldn't get it done. I mean, this is the last thing we should be talking about is the bullpen blowing this, about managerial decisions down the line. What we should be talking about after a win is how Jackson Holiday twice came up down 1 run and tied the game. That's what we should be focused on, but because of everything, we can't. We're sitting here talking about how the pitching didn't get done.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic.
It really is. But let's head on to our next caller. We got Gordon up next.
What's going on, Gordon?
Ain't nothing. How are you guys doing?
Good. Is that a steering wheel?
Yeah, look, I just got it today. I just got my little.
Oh, is that like a driving simulator type thing? Oh,
yeah,
that is
look,
sick.
I'm over here playing Forza Horizon 5 right now.
Oh man! So you know what? The Orioles might not be winning, Gordon, but you are. Is what I'm seeing.
Hey, look, today is my off day. Sundays I don't do anything, no rugs, anything. Just it's a day to chill my mind. Hopefully, I thought I was gonna have an Orioles win today. Seeing how good I
too.
like you said, it felt like it was 2018, 2013. I mean, 2023 all over again, where we would start good and then we would give up a couple runs and fight back. We had that fight in us, but it's just like I understand we were down 1 run, but you're going to bring in Charlie Morton. What were we down? We were down by 2 runs, right?
Yep.
As you've seen today, 2 runs was nothing to us.
No.
Like we and you saw what happened. Like at the very next inning, Ryan Mountcastle gets a single, and then it would have been 1 run. Like it's just so frustrating. Like this team's record is a reflection of on-field play, obviously, and everything of with the managers and just the whole team in general. Like I'm tired of hearing, this team is better than our record. No, this team is not better than our record. Like we are who we are, and our record reflects that. Because if our team was better than the record, we would be better. Like I understand we have talent, but something's not clicking, and I don't care how much talent we have in the world. If it's not clicking, our record reflects it's not clicking, and it doesn't matter. Oh, we should be better. Like, our expecting batting averages, on certain pitches are 800, 820 or whatnot. Like, who cares about that? If we're not producing, who cares about any of that? Like, our record is what our record is, and that's what this team is. And it's kind of like, all right, like I know the weather's starting to heat up and we're about to start, it's like last night, I kind of was upset that we lost, but we put the bat to the ball last night and it was raining, the ball wasn't, if you wanted to get a home run, you had to actually get dang near a perfect hit. It wasn't like one of those balls where it could just fly over like Ryan Mountcastle's. Like it died yesterday, but it's like, I don't know, this team is just so friggin' frustrating, and the decisions, man, like why, I just don't know what you think in that instance. That just kind of felt like we just gave up with 3 runs left, and we had 4 home runs. And I never liked giving up. I only like giving up when the fat lady sung, and that's when the game is over.
Yeah,
it's tough.
And I agree with your, when you talk about your record is, it is who you are. You can say that the record doesn't reflect the talent on April 4th. When we're 10 games in, when we're 12 games in, if you start off slow, you start off 2-8 or whatever, and you're like, nah, they got talent. They're better than this. We're 6 weeks in. We're 5 weeks in. Eventually, we are getting to that point, like you said, where it's like, no, this is who you are. And now they have to go and fight against that. This is what the pitching staff they put together. This is what the offense is playing down to. This is what they're playing to.
And it sucks because it's like, I know we've been playing like these not world beaters, but we've been playing like some really good teams. Like, if we've had a really hard schedule, but if we want to be in that conversation of being good teams should be afraid of playing us just as we are of playing them. And I'm tired of saying, like, I hear people saying, well, we faced some really good pitching. But if we're supposed to be that good team and want to win a World Series, we're supposed to be demolishing that good pitching. I'm not saying go out there and win every single game, but just don't lose the way that we're losing. And, we're the Orioles. We're supposed to have pride in that we're the Orioles, and everything that we've done these last couple years, that just doesn't go out the window. Like, we are who we expected to be. And that's where the frustration comes from fans. That's where the frustration comes from the front office, the players, because they feel it. They have expectations for themselves and for the season and how they thought the season was going to go. And granted, it's not going like that. And, it's showing that feeling of how they feel. It's showing the way that they play. Like, I understand, like, that Heston Kjerstad, I don't know what he was thinking, if he thought it was 2 outs and then he saw that the ball got caught. But, like mental errors like that kind of just encapsulates this whole season so far in the Orioles. And I understand that every team has blunders and issues and stuff like that, but things like that, it kind of just feels like who the 2025 Orioles are right now, and it's not a good feeling. And I understand. Look at the Royals; they were 8-14 or whatever, and then they started going on a 10-2 or now 11-2 run, and it's like the Orioles can do that, but like we just have to. I can't really explain it because it's not as easy as saying, "Oh, we can go out there and win." It's so many aspects to this team that has issues, and it's not just one pinpoint issue that we can talk about, and that's the most frustrating part.
100%. It's this team has more talent than they're showing right now, but they're just not. They're not playing good baseball. They're not playing good baseball. So I just hope they can turn it around. But with each game that it looks like this, it's like how much can you really expect them to, or what's the final form of this team? Is it a team
And
not good enough to win?
And it's like, do you not know how demoralizing that would? I like demoralizing that would be as a hitter or as a team to where I've been around baseball, like around sports, rather it's baseball, football, basketball, to where it's like, like the team has an issue and everybody knows what that team issue is, and then like the offense right now, the Orioles are struggling on offense and having issues, and it's like when we do have games like this, you kind of expect to win because you kind of would expect the bullpen to lock us down. And like, I feel like that would kind of just be another reason for the Orioles to have some type of mental collapse. It's like, damn, we put up 4 home runs and scored 6 runs, and we actually did what we were supposed to do. And then we were let down by our offense. By our pitching. Like that kind of would be demoralizing as like, that would kind of piss me off if I was in the offense, or like it's just like, man, like why? I don't know. It's like it just makes you want to talk and just stop talking, just be like, I don't know, like really.
They're gonna have to figure it out.
Literally.
Yeah, it's by this whole season. The word has just been frustrating. Last year it was draining. This year it's just frustrating.
Yeah,
Yep.
draining from last year because we were so great in the first half, and then after the first half, it just was like that feeling of being happy just was drained out of us. And it's the same thing from last year to this year, even though they're new seasons, but it's the same thing, and that's where the frustration comes from. And it's just, but I mean, look at Gunner. He didn't have a spring training and had to get his footing under him. And look at him. Hopefully, he can be the catalyst that brings us through to hopefully having these wins. And that's kind of what it looks like. My opinion, what I feel like would help this team, don't have Holiday batting in the lower ends of the lineup. Put him higher. Have Gunner in the same position. He looks like he's starting to get his foot under him, and just keep fighting. At the end, like, just keep fighting. That's all that we can do. Just don't give up and capitalize. Like, we literally have to capitalize on this upcoming schedule. So
They have to. I agree. This May is going to be a massive month for the Orioles. If they can't dig themselves out of it in this month, I don't know when they will. Gordon, appreciate you calling in. You enjoy your off day
Appreciate you, man.
Sunday, taking your break. Appreciate you taking a little break from your break to come join us as always, my friend. We'll catch you after next game.
Appreciate you, Gordon.
too. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Peace.
It is frustrating. This is been kind of the name of the game this season is frustration. I just had to tweet it out again. We should be sitting here talking about the Jackson Holiday game, but we're sitting here talking about more frustrating losses. It sucks.
Yeah,
It really sucks, Kevin. But let's head on over to our next call. And we got Ray.
The Brian Baker time bomb finally.
Yeah, that happened. That
It could only go on for so long.
Only a matter.
It was fun. It was fun while it lasted, but it hit midnight.
But I knew it was gonna end. It's like that team. It's like the 13 seed who beats the 4 seed. You know how it's gonna end.
Yeah, like
it's a nice Cinderella story when it happens.
I mean, and Charlie Morton. Why was he in this ballgame? Why is he? Why is he? If you're going to put Morton in the bullpen, he comes in when you're down 8 runs to save everybody else. That's how you're going to.
I don't even know if I feel safe if it was an 8-run game and they were leading. Like that's You're right. That's the only way. It's like if the game is over and you're going to lose.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean.
Just have him eat in. It's like you're exactly right. So I don't know. I mean, I think that again. I said it. It's a money thing to me. Like there's no baseball reason to keep him on the roster. Like and it'd be different if he had shown you something. He's shown me nothing. Like there's not been one good outing. Like there's nothing to hang your hat on and be like, hey, this is what we've seen from him this season. What we've seen from him is just it's been bad every single time he's gone out there. I don't know.
The only other explanation could be if he just has a pulse in the clubhouse that we don't see. That's the only other thing I could think of.
Yeah, I mean, if he did, that'd be a reason. I mean, some of his comments had me thinking, like, man, does he also need the motivational pep talks? Is he giving them, or does he need them? Like, that's what I've been thinking about. But yeah, I mean, you're right. That might be the only other reason. But pitching a man down in your rotation, bullpen, wherever he is just not a winning formula. And, it's not what teams that are trying to compete do. And the Orioles have now done this for essentially almost a full season in baseball time, half of the year with Kimbrel last year, and then coming up on a month plus with Morton now. You have to find a way to get out of it, and having guys that don't contribute to winning, it's not how you do it.
And Kobe Mayo looked great again today, didn't he?
I'm with you, Ray. I'm with you, Ray.
He looked good in the field. I think he had a couple tough plays in the field that I know, the big knock on him right now is fielding. He actually impressed me in the field today. It wasn't clean. It wasn't the smoothest, but he got it done.
No, he did.
And I love.
It was terrible, Zach. I can't believe it got there.
I credit to Ben McDowell for being like, great throw to keep it low and but one hop. And I was like, don't know if that was the intent at the moment, but I will say this. Kobe Mayo got absolutely screwed on that 1-strike-3 call off the corner. It got screwed there, then drew the walk. Does Kobe Mayo look great right now? No, but I do think he looks better than he did last season. I think he looks more comfortable and has more of a. Unfortunately, seems like we're saying the same thing we say about Kowser, Gunnar, and Adley and Jackson. Sometimes they just know the box too well. And they get called out on that ball that's just outside. And it is a half inch off the corner, but the ump rings them up and they're sitting there going, that's a ball. And it is. But unfortunately, at times it feels like they, they know the box too well. With Kobe, I am totally in on the throw him to the fire. Like, this is give him first base. I would give Kobe Mayo first base for the next 6-7 games until Westy gets back, or third base. Give him third base. I understand, Rivera's obviously hitting well. He's always been a clutch guy for us. I'd give Kobe, because why not? We're not winning many games right now. Offense, obviously, today had some juice. I would just let him try to get comfortable. We're seeing what Stowers is doing when he gets consistent time. Okay. I mean, Jackson Holiday looked worse than Kobe's looking, more overpowered than Kobe does right now when he first came up. And we see how we're talking about him now. I'm not giving up on Kobe. I think he is still going to be a very, very, very good ball player. They just got to let him get reps. I mean, this is the only way he's going to learn. He's not doing much hitting 700 home runs in AAA.
Like I said yesterday, I'm just worried if it doesn't work, people are going to be afraid of him, especially because they have a position. If we're going to trade him at the deadline, that's my concern.
Yeah, but I think also it helps that, weirdly enough, Norby and Stowers, I think, are helping your case right now because teams are looking at them going, oh, so these guys in Baltimore that are getting inconsistent time, when they actually have time, they still are these great prospects that can rake. Because, I mean, Kyle Stowers is hitting like 327 on the year.
Well, I'm sure the Orioles maybe could get 2 Trevor Rogers instead of 1 for Kobe Mayo if that was the package.
Ooh.
So.
I mean, I would take anybody. I mean, I would trade Mountcastle for Andrew Heaney right now, to be honest.
Andrew Heaney's looking good. I mean, for the Pirates, he's looking really good.
There's not enough space, and guys aren't producing to make arguments to keep them. Like, that's just.
I'm really interested what Mountcastle's trade value is at this current moment.
I don't think it's very high.
Well, okay, we say that, but he is a more veteran player who is under team control, who does play very good defense and has potential. I don't think his trade value is awful. I don't think it's at its highest by any means, but I do think you could get yourself, if Mountcastle is the main part in a trade, I think you could get yourself a decent pitcher. And now I would think you would get someone. It would be, I think, more along the lines of maybe an Andrew Heaney, like you're saying, Ray. I think he would be something more like that. Than you're not going to add Mountcastle as the headliner of a Sandy Alcantara trade. He's not going to get you anyone massive, but he can get you a good starter.
It would have to be a trade for the Orioles, who, if the Orioles still think they're competing with another team for an expiring pitcher, because Mountcastle's got a year of team control after this one.
Yeah.
It would be a trade like that. It wouldn't be prospects.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see. I do think that Mountie, if they're going to commit to Kobe Mayo's the guy, if they're like, we're not trading him, we're keeping him, then you got to get rid of Mountie, because he's going to have to take over as that first base DH guy. So
Absolutely.
we'll see what happens. Ray, appreciate you calling in as always.
Man, Ray. Appreciate you
guys.
Also, have a good one, Ray.
Peace. All right.
Kevin, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. May 4th, we're talking about which Orioles are we selling.
Yep.
It's tough, but let's go on. We got our next guy. We got Mikey backstage. Mikey, what's up?
Mikey, what's going on?
It's a day. It is a roller coaster every day, my guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's one way to put it. That is one way.
The game certainly happened today.
And like Zach was saying earlier, like, I feel like I'm crying in the club. Like, I'm seeing my boys hitting homers, but then I'm seeing, them give them right back. And it's just like I'm hyped and I'm excited, and then I'm crying. And it's just awful. Where's the Kleenex? What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. I don't know.
You would sit there and Jackson would go yard to tie it, or then Seti ties it, then we take the lead, and you're like, oh my gosh, be hype. And then the next thing you're like, and Witt ties it, and Garcia takes the lead. And you're like, okay, awesome. That was cool. And it just felt like they would give you like 5-minute spurts of, oh, we're fighting today. And they'd be like, oh, the pitching's not.
And that's exactly it. And something I'm catching myself thinking about a lot is like, okay, like I'm really focused on the forest for the trees. Let's zoom out here. What does the next 2 years look like? The next 3 years look like? And I'd love to be a fly on the wall in those conversations, because there's no easy answer there. Like, hypothetically speaking, just humor me here. Kevin and Zach are made the front office. You're given the keys. What is your priority right now? I don't have a good answer, and I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
That's the unfortunate part of where they are, and I don't think there is an obvious answer. You have to find some sort of way to get the pitching side. I mean, it's got to be solely focused on the pitching staff. So then it's okay. Where are we? Are we making that move with Mountcastle? Are you trading a Mayo? Deciding between them. At this point, I would rather, you're not going to get someone as good. I'd rather trade Mountcastle just because of the control for Mayo. I think he's got more of that upside. Obviously you have the Sam Basayo, coming up in the next few months. I think by August it starts to become, he's going to be pounding on the door. I do think it's interesting because there isn't a clear option, at least, Kevin, I don't know for you, but in my head, there's not a first move, an obvious first, direction that I'd head in if I was taking over right now.
I just don't know if there's a move that saves them. I think that they made this bed. They have to lay in it, and it was awful when they were doing it. It's awful now. I mean, we all saw this coming, except for the Orioles, it feels like. And, now that you've moved off of a bunch of your prospects at last year's deadline, like a Stowers and a Norby, obviously you moved on from Ortiz and Hall, and it's not like they're doing anything in Milwaukee. At least I don't think – and Hall is still injured, and I don't even think Ortiz is playing well for them right now. But regardless, it's like those could have been options for you to move off of. And teams Ortiz is sitting 181 this season. So it's like, again, they're not doing like great, but it's options you no longer have in your system to move off of for other players. So now those options become, is it Kobe Mayo? Is it Enrique Bradfield or Judd Fabian? Like whoever it is, your farm system's dwindling even more. And honestly, my first step would be, I would, at least with the way that these guys are hitting right now, Mullins, O'Hearn, I would really sit down, and this is crazy to do even a month in, but I would honestly evaluate, do these guys have long-term places on the team? And if the season is a wash, then I'd move on from them. I mean, I just, it's tough to say that because you're a month in, but my thing is, don't lose them for nothing again. At least get some. If you are not going to give O'Hearn a big extension or Mullins a big extension, I would hate to see this team continue to hover around like 7-10 games below 500 or 1-2 games above 500, and then them lose everyone for nothing again. Like I can't see them go through that again this offseason because yes, you weren't trading Corbin last year. You weren't trading Tony. That was understandable because of the way that they started off and the way that they were hot. And, that they were buyers last year as they should have been. Now the deals weren't great except for really Eflin, but I guess Soto and Dominguez have panned out for you in ways. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not in that spot right now where you could realistically have a bad May and be in a conversation of you just need to bring back talent. This year is a wash. Go see what you can do next year. And I don't want to have that conversation right now on May 4th, but maybe we're here on June 4th and they had a bad May and you have to kind of figure out what you want to do.
No, that's really well said, Kevin. I couldn't have put it better myself. And what I'm gonna and you said next year, and that's what I'm thinking about too, is next year right now. And that sucks, right? Like it's May, we don't want to be talking about next year. Sucks. Like if you told me that we were having this conversation 2 months ago, I wouldn't have been too happy about it, right? But the fact is we're here now and we have to think about it now, and it's between a rock and a hard place. And I'll leave off with this. Like going into this offseason with Rubenstein and the new ownership and the way things are, it was a big offseason, but there was like, and maybe this is just me, but there was like some flexibility and some leeway and some forgiveness for how that was. It was transition. It was new. But now I feel like this upcoming offseason is really going to show their cards, and it's going to show us how much do they want to win. And I'm not expecting them to drop Dodgers or Steve Cohen money, but I'm expecting them to bring in somebody that isn't Gibson, bring in somebody that isn't Morton. Yeah. I don't know.
And I feel like that's what people are expecting outside, this past offseason. I think that's where, like we said, it's a shame that it has to happen now, but there does need to be some sort of sit down and, hey, we can't keep trying to be this anti-Dodgers team where we're not spending money and you have to spend money to win. You can't just be like, we're going to bring in, we're spending $90 million in an offseason across the board of 9 guys with the average age of 36. That's not, I would rather you go get 2 impact players than spend, with that 90 million, than go and supplement it over 6-7 guys.
Well, and it is kind of crazy, and I'll make this point quickly here. Last offseason, in a way, it's not a great comparison, but it reminded me of the Ravens offseason this offseason, except it went in 2 different directions, where you had a couple of big free agents you had to make decisions on. For Baltimore, it was guys like Ronnie Stanley and, I guess Patrick Ricard is who they re-signed, if you want to, humor me and compare it to that. Whereas for Baltimore, Corbin and Tony, I think, are better overall than, Stanley, Ricard, etc. But the point remains, if they had to make decisions on those guys, the Orioles could have gone in a direction where even if it wasn't Corbin who they re-signed or Tony who they re-signed, you could have gotten, even if it was a little lesser value, a little worse a player, you could have replaced. And again, people thought that the O'Neill to Santander thing was pretty even. Well, even though Tony's not hitting great right now, 1, that's just Tony, and 2, O'Neill's on the IL. So what's he doing for you? It feels like next offseason for the Ravens, they have a lot of decisions they have to make. A lot of guys are becoming free agents or extension eligible, et cetera, et cetera. For the Orioles, that feels like what it is next offseason as well, where it's a lot of expirings, a lot of more, it's extension conversations. Now, the Ravens took it in a direction where they either re-signed guys or tried to upgrade at positions where there were abilities to upgrade. So Uze over Stevens or Hopkins over Aguilar, like those guys to help you. Yes, disappointing end of the division round, but you're taking those steps to hopefully go AFC Championship, a game, Super Bowl, etc. It feels like the Orioles backtracked, where Corbin overall, he's like a top X pitcher in baseball, whatever you want to say. The value is a little hard to compare sport to sport. But it just felt like the Ravens made those moves on the margins along with bringing back their own guys or at least upgrading in certain spots. Felt like the Orioles lost a lot of the guys that they needed, didn't upgrade or even attempt to upgrade those spots. And then the holes that they did have, they didn't upgrade there either. And so it feels like for 2 off seasons in 2026, where both teams have a lot of expirings, a lot of extension discussions that have to happen, it feels like the Ravens have put themselves in a spot to compete this year and deal with that. Whereas for the Orioles, it's much more of an uphill climb. And I know it's tough to compare sport to sport, but does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It does. Okay, last comment. I'm hopping off. Every time I get sad about the Orioles, I just remember we got Malachi Starks and we got Mike Green. That's a big deal. Let's go Ravens.
Go Ravens. Hey, training camp's a couple months away, man. We're going to get into it. I'm pumped for it. Pumped for football season. But you know what?
Appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah, appreciate you, Mike. Baseball season hopefully can turn around too. So, you know, I don't want to go back to the days where we have to wait for the Ravens and the Orioles just kind of like on. And it's tough to grind through that year. Like these last couple of years has been great, like having the Orioles be competitive, and then, you know, Ravens season comes along and both teams are kind of
it just
together.
makes it fun. Like when we're playing, you know, last season, even when it, you know, the ending was rough, watching a Ravens game and then knowing you got an Orioles playoff game before or after, or, you know, we're going to Ravens game or Orioles game and the Ravens play later that night. Like it just, there's something about it. There's something about it, genuinely. So, you know, I wish Kevin. So, yeah, let's head on. We got our next call in. We got Laura.
What's up, Laura?
Stay there.
Can we? I mean, might as well. At least they're advancing rounds.
Winning. They're in the playoffs. I don't have much, so I'm not going to be on here long because basically you could take any other time that I've been on here and basically just hit replay.
That, you know, we've talked about it before. Zach and I have said, what if we just didn't do the stream for a week and just after every game replayed an episode of this and see if people can tell if we're live or not?
Seriously.
Because it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff.
We're live. There are times you couldn't tell. Oh, inconsistent. Couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Pitching. Morton blew up. Oh. Could have played like
let's see. What did I say today? I said, you know, it's the same old thing. It's this team is supposed to out hit everybody, but they're not hitting. What are we doing about the hitting coaches? What are we doing about the pitching coaches since the pitching's not there? What could have Elias done in the offseason? You know, what did he do or not do in the offseason? When are we going to fire Hyde? What can Hyde do? What about the analytics? What do we do with the same old shit day after day?
Yep, there it is.
Yep, every it just feels like that, and you know, it goes so much more beyond that. Like you're 100% right, Laura, and it's you know, on the field, off the field, decisions that are being made by decision makers. You know, even in the wins, we were talking about runners in scoring position of like, hey, this needs to improve, and it's been a year-long thing for them, dating back to last year. So, you know, wins are wins, but they got to show me more than just wins. You got to string stuff together here.
How many home runs did we hit today?
4.
Enough to win a game, I'll tell you that.
That's the point. We hit 4 home runs and we still couldn't win. We scored 6 runs and we still couldn't win. Because remember,
not only that, you lost by 5.
The knock was that we couldn't get over 4 runs. You know, so now we do that and we still don't win.
That's why I called this was one of the more frustrating losses, Laura, because they showed fight. The offense showed up. You were in it every time the Royals had an answer. You answered right back. And it was like, okay, boom. Okay, we're gone. This is a heavyweight fight. We're both throwing punches. And then it was like the Orioles brought in Morton. And they were like, just kidding, guys. You got it. And it was like,
went off the rails. Yeah, I how about those Caps?
How about Ovi's year? You know, maybe it's the Caps year.
I just, you know, like I said, I mean, we're 20% through the season now, and you know, I know Elias had his little press conference on Friday, but come on, man, you know, it's something has got to be done. Something has got to change here, and I'm not saying that Hyde has lost the locker room because obviously the guys love him, but something is not translating to on the field. What is that part?
Yeah.
Is it the hitting? Is it the pitching? Is it? I mean, it's all of it. It's all of it. We, like you said, the one up is Jackson Holliday's first ever multi-home run game that we should be celebrating.
Yep.
And we're not. You know, I just. And I don't know if you saw the other stat that I put in there. We're 0-6 on Sundays.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to bring the bearer of bad news. We don't win on Sundays. So I just, every Sunday we come in here like, oh, we're going to, just win the series. Just win the series. It's not going to happen. There's something about Sundays.
Gotta win Friday, Saturday now, Laura, now that you told me that.
And we know that. I mean, good luck with that.
I don't like winning back to back, so that's not good.
Yeah. So that's it. My only other thing is that I'm wearing this nifty sweatshirt from my friend.
Ooh.
For people that live in Pennsylvania, KeystoneGarePA.com.
There you
Support
go.
my friend. That's all I got.
Love it.
That's all I got. And go Caps.
Go Caps. Awesome, Laura. Appreciate you as always.
We'll see you next
All
time.
right. All right. Well,
this is so demoralizing.
Yeah. Yeah. We also have a quick super chat from Kyle here. Appreciate you, Kyle. Orioles need to rebuild from the ground up.
What did we do then? Like that, we just did. We just rebuilt from below the ground. They made an anti-tanking rule because of us. You can't tank anymore because of us. We were the last team to ever build from the ground up. We just kind of messed it up. That's the unfortunate part. Do appreciate the super chat. But that's what sucks is it's like, there are some rebuilds when you're like, oh, well, they didn't really completely tear it down like they should have done the long haul. We did the long haul. Yeah. We played the long game, Kevin. Like, that's what's most frustrating. We played the long game. We sucked for 6 years. We were awful. I sat through 100 lost seasons. This wasn't like the Ravens where it was like you had a single bad year because Flacco went down with an injury. And then besides that, like you're a perennial 10-11 win team. Like we were the number one, but we were the Cleveland Browns for 6 years. And then we got back to this like, oh, we could do this. And now we're like, do we blow it up? Gosh, Kevin, this is just
It's tough. It's tough. But yeah. All right, let's get to our last call in.
Last call in of the day.
Streak lives.
Good God, I had to wait for like 9 hours to make this shit happen.
You made it happen.
What happened when you don't join right away, Joseph?
Hey, I had shit to do, man. Had shit to do.
How are you recovering from your birthday?
I was gonna say that birthday hangover.
I'm doing good. Got my drink here.
All right, you're
nice
energizing up.
Staying hydrated. So, had some shopping to do today. Just leisure day around, listening to Orioles game while doing my shopping, hearing home run, home run, home run, home run, home run.
Yep.
And then I hear Charlie Morton on the mound, and I'm like, oh, okay. Then he gets 2 outs. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then next I hear, I'm like, oh, there's Charlie Morton.
Yeah. He has arrived.
Brett Hollander said it. He goes, is Ground Chuck back after the 2 outs? And because he's a ground ball pitcher.
Yep.
And then boom, a home run. And it's like that's pretty funny, Brett. Like
it's
he
just
had you fooled, buddy.
Felt like everyone in the world in the stadium knew as soon as Charlie Morton came in, the Orioles were throwing in the towel, and that's what happened.
It's tough.
Hey, but you know what? Let's not be so negative. Let's not incite violence or be, this is just a game. It's a sport. Let's live to fight another day.
How'd the Hogs do? Did they play today?
No, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
not even a Hogs win today. Damn.
But guess what? Guess what? They swept the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah. You can live on that forever.
They should jump. Got LSU next weekend in Baton Rouge, so it's going to be tough. Always tough to play.
Joe, it's going to the Hogs might go on a run this year. We might be talking Hogs baseball on here. If the Orioles keep doing this and the Hogs are doing their thing, we might just have to start reacting to them. So
let's do it. I need the Orioles and the Razorbacks to win the World Series to cash my bet. So it's a long way to the top. But
One's looking really good.
it's a good payout if they both win. It's a good payout on $50.
They got to do it for
So
you. They got to do it for you.
I would appreciate the Orioles learning how to win baseball again, so I can cash my
I
bet.
would appreciate that too.
Be
I think that'd be fun.
nice. Yeah.
It was a plus 12,000 bet, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Man.
Joe, I hope at least I hope they do it for you. I hope they do it for you.
But gentlemen, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with
You
you.
as well.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
We'll see you on
Absolutely.
Tuesday. Appreciate
All
you
right.
as always, Joe.
Appreciate you.
I also I had to bring these up. These cracked me up. We rebuilt from the ground up just only to platoon guy. And then less than 335 days of opening day.
Oh man, can you believe in a year we'll be a month into the 2026 season? Wow, I'm so excited for that.
So excited, Kevin. You got anything else?
Nah, that's it. I think just go get them next time.
Get them next time.
Say it every day.
But yeah, that'll do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. Orioles are off tomorrow, so no show. We will be back on Tuesday after the Orioles take on the Twins. Hopefully we can get a win. Orioles are facing nothing but righties in this series. Unfortunately, 2 are Cy Young contenders, but they're not lefties. So you're telling me there's a chance, Kevin. That'll do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. We will see you on Tuesday. Mike Musina.
Bud Norris.
Woo! Okay, Kevin.
I've been pulling